After having a baby, your alignment is all out of whack, and this is one of the first things we want to raise awareness about and also look at improving before we start building any movement patterns upon that. So let us start. We want to make sure that the feet are roughly hip bone width apart. Stand up nice and tall, and we're going to start with the pelvis. So hands are going to come onto the waist. We're going to take a deep breath in, and as we do so, we're just going to arch through the back ever so slightly, and that pelvis is going to lift backwards. Try and keep those ribs where they are for now. Then we're going to take it forwards, breathing out, breathing in, and breathing out. Now a neutral pelvis, which is what we're aiming for, is halfway in between that pushing the pelvis back and tucking it forwards. So have a little bit of a feel as to what is good for you. Our pelvis should be in a good position. Next thing we're going to do is actually look at where it is over our feet. So quite often we tend to stand a little bit like this. What I want us to do is, once that pelvis is in the right position, is just either draw the pelvis backwards so it's directly above the ankles, and you might want to look in a mirror for this because sometimes it's hard to work out where your pelvis should be in space. And this is often because you get stuck in these positions. So this might be what feels normal. And this might feel like you're leaning quite far forwards. So we've done our pelvis. We have moved that pelvis over our ankles. And now we're just going to try and straighten up through the spine. So imagine if we're wearing a crown, this is what would be lifted up towards the ceiling. From here, have a think about what's going on with the ribs. Just as the pelvis is nicely in line down the bottom, we also want to have the same with the ribs. And often what happens is that these ribs flare out a little bit. There's a little bit of an arch. So just think about drawing those ribs down. One way you can tell is if you have your thumbs sort of just where the rib bones are, and you can have your little finger just at the top of the hip bones. You should be able to feel that. And if you take a deep breath in, you might feel like you arch your back. You might feel like the hands and the fingers move away from each other. What we're looking to do is to draw them as close together as we can without then arching over like so. There you go, the ribs are in position. Let's relax those hands. And from here, let's just take a big roll of the shoulders forwards. Let's roll those shoulders back. And from here, let's also just reverse that chin ever so slightly, especially if you've been feeding a lot or you are looking at your phone. This can sometimes happen. So just by drawing that chin in, you should be able to keep the eyes where they are. The eyes shouldn't be looking down. That chin shouldn't be coming down. Just a drawing of the chin backwards. And again, keep adjusting how you are standing, because quite often, and I could feel myself doing it just then, I could feel my hips moving slightly further forwards into that, pushing the hips forward position. So don't forget, if you're ever in doubt of how you're standing, think about that pelvis first. Take it back over the ankles, drop those ribs down. You want to reach up nice and tall through the crown of the head. Roll those shoulders forwards, roll those shoulders back, and just draw that chin back ever so slightly. And just starting off in this position, before you start even doing your movement, or even when you're standing, waiting for something, try and get that alignment back again. And I'd also urge you to try this whilst you're lying down as well. See how that feels.